Christina Bradley, reporter for KARN News Radio, also worked with Ann Pressley. Also with us, Dr. Clay Watson, forensic psychiatrist. Dana, let's start with you. The parents, they're not convinced this was random. And my layman's view, I got to agree with them. What evidence do authorities have that say this is a random attack and she doesn't have a stalker per se?
Well, the Little Rock Police Department, they're still sticking with their story of it being a random attack. Maybe she walked in on a random burglary. They're not, the Patty and Guy Kennedy, Ann's parents are thinking that there is actually more to this, and also revealed this morning her mother admitted that there was evidence that Ann was sexually assaulted in this case. So her parents don't believe that it was targeted, but the Little Rock Police are still saying all their evidence and their studies show that it was just a random robbery, random attack.
Now, Curtis Vance was charged in the other attack back in April. That was a rape and a robbery, correct? He stole $3.
Right. I'm not for sure exactly what was stolen, but it was, I spoke with the Marietta police detective, and this did happen in April. The young lady said that she had been raped, and they collected DNA evidence from that, and that DNA evidence from that rape allegedly, ended up with being Vance's as well.
Did he beat her at all? Do we know?
No, there was no physical abuse in that case.
One last one on that front, then we'll get Clay in. Why was he out on the streets? If he's charged with a violent crime, do we know that? Anybody talking about that? That's what some of the people, I was speaking with some people on the outside, and that's why they're still trying to put two and two together. He doesn't have a violent criminal history, well, so far that what has been searched through by the Little Rock Police Department, just a few traffic tickets and things like that. And he was still going about his everyday business, hanging out in Little Rock and also 100 miles away from Little Rock in his home in Marietta. Okay. Clay, what do you make of this? You know, when I'm looking at this, again, as a layman, you see one accused rape, and he steals $3. With the attack on Ann Pressley, he beat her to death. I mean, are you seeing a random attack here or something else?
Well, what I'll say is that this is actually what you say is a classic example of what is called an overkill, where a perpetrator actually does more, uses excessive force to carry out a murder more than they actually need to do. Usually in those cases, though, there is some sort of intimate relationship between the two folks, but that's not necessarily the case. And when I say relationship between the two folks, I mean the victim and the perpetrator. In some cases, though, you're talking about someone who is so enraged that, and certainly if it is in the case as it is in this one, where this woman fought back, and he may have become enraged and felt that he needed to command control of her even after her demise.
Okay, all right. And I know her mother, Ann Pressley's mother, was talking about how Ann broke her hand in fighting back in this attack. Let's listen to Patty Kennedy again. This was on the Today Show. Again, reasserting her assessment this was not random. Let's give it a listen.
We have a lot of unanswered questions at this time. I'm not so sure about that.
What do you think might have happened?
I have many questions. I think that he could have been a stalker. I think that he could have been someone that we just need to find out more information about.
Dana, how far is that stalker theory being explored right now?
Details of the investigation have still not been released by the Little Rock Police Department, so if they're still sticking to what they've said. Random robbery, she may have walked in on it and had been attacked. So if they do have another theory about maybe a possible stalker, they're not releasing that information yet. And I spoke with the prosecuting attorney, Larry Jegley, today to try to find out where this is and what kind of charges that might seek for Mr. Vance. But the Little Rock Police Department has not handed over the case file yet to the prosecuting attorney. So all those details, once that case file is handed over, we'll know a whole lot more.
Okay. I want to listen to the Patty Kennedy, really both parents, talking about the need to be at the trial, to face down they believe to be their daughter's killer. Let's listen to more from the Today Show.
It's going to be very tough, but Ann was tough. She fought for her life. She fought her attacker. You know, again, her left hand was broken from trying to fight this man off. And we can face that. Ann faced a lot. She lost her life over it, and we'll face him.
Couple of things, Clay. Number one, how is it that Patty can be so strong? I mean, I know it's been 6 weeks, but that's just, I mean, she really laid out some detail there and didn't break down. How does someone get that strong in that situation?
Yeah, I can't imagine how. I can't imagine how she could be so strong given the circumstances, and especially when there's so much information that is still left to be found. Getting back to a moment about the stalking issue, the fact of the matter is that this is a woman who was in the public eye. And those folks who are in the public eye are at a higher risk for being stalked, especially if you look at a woman who is attractive as this lady is. You can't necessarily rule out stalking. This could also be a random act. It sounds like this is a person who, the perpetrator is a person who has acted violently, at least through raping other people in the past. And so I would agree that there's still much to be found here.
Yeah. Okay, Dr. Clay Watson and Dana Bradley, we appreciate your time, both of you, and want to promise you, the viewer, we're going to continue to follow this as we find out more information and get more answers on this case.